Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 20s Detox. I'm Bianca, your host, where we dive into all the things that I'm learning and unlearning in my 20s to elevate this decade. Just as a reminder, this is the last month where you're going to be able to get the winter portion of my seasonal guide for free. This guide is also structured in a way that goes with the fiscal quarters. So by April, there is a new phase within this seasonal guide. So I just wanted to give the introduction and quarter one for free. And if any of you are vibing with it, really enjoy it, then check out the full guide on my website. In 2 days, I'm going to be 27. And it's really crazy how long I've been creating for the 20s Detox and how much it's evolved. And one thing I've done every year since being 24, I think, was the lessons I'd learned a full year around the sun. Today, I'm going to do that. And these are specific lessons, shifts, things that I am realizing for not just my personal life, but this is for my generation. This is for the state of the world at the moment and what I am learning so that I am being mindful of my energy. I'm focusing on what matters. I'm supporting myself, mind, body, spirit. So if you have been feeling a little bit unstable with the state of the world, not just in the past few months, the past few years, because we are such an important generation right now. It's not like we're more special than other generations, but we are the up and coming generation. These are things that are going to help me create a good foundation as I move forward into that, as we move into our 30s. You know, I'm in my late 20s now, and the way that I think now versus what I thought before, it's not like before I had this like naivety, but a little bit. And now I am much more grounded and grateful. Let's just dive into it. The first thing, we really don't need that much. I've recently moved out. I moved out in the fall. This is not where I'm currently living. This is my parents' house, if you're watching on video. And my parents' house, I'm very grateful to have lived a bit more rural. And as a result, my parents were able to give me a home that had more land, bigger space. And I have been adjusting to downsizing to like a 615 square foot apartment. It's just like one room with my boyfriend. We have a tiny little closet that we just like are trying to make work between the two of us. And I've realized not just then, but also in moments where I've been forced to just have less, that we really don't need as much. It's almost becoming romanticized to overconsume and to just have so much of everything. Not just women, who I find we are more influenced to act like this with our skincare and our makeup and our clothes, but men as well with their gadgets and like things that they want to accumulate to help their dopamine. You know, having too much is taking away our time, our energy, and our money. We need to be using that money for other things, for better things. Something I love to do are capsule closets, and I'm even taking it up a level to go beyond just every quarter, so like every season. I am rotating clothes every month, and as a result, I'm faced with really realizing, do I wear these clothes? Or do they just like take space in my closet? The rule I have is I will give that one piece of clothing one more year to see if I will wear it. You know how we say, oh, well, there's going to be an opportunity in a full year. I guarantee it. If there wasn't a time in the following year of you using that piece of clothing that you haven't the year prior, then you get rid of it. The first thing I do is I try and give it to my friends and family to see if they want it. If they don't want it, if the clothing isn't really worth that much money, I'm going to donate that clothing to people who need it. If I find that it is worth more money, then I will try and sell it. And if that doesn't work, then I donate it and I just give it away. It also makes you appreciate a lot more of what you already have. When you downsize, when you have less things, you really appreciate what you already have. And you're also faced with more opportunities to create a space that is you. because you have less to play with, because you have less clothes, you really look at it and be like, is this a reflection of me? Is this my personal style? Is this the design, the interior design that I really want for my home? Or is this just something trendy? And because I have the space for it, I'll just make it work. When you have smaller spaces, smaller closets, you have to be more intentional and mindful of it. And it also clears up a lot of energy. Like every single object you have holds energy. And I honestly love the opportunity every quarter, not just in spring cleaning, every single quarter to just like go through my home and see, is this me? Do I really want this? And purge. I'm a massive purger. I love it. And beyond just thinking of just like downsizing in general and having less things, I want you to also have this mindset of like fixing over buying new. When something gets broken or something is not really the way that it should be used, have a new use for it or try and fix it up. I love the creator Frugal Chic, and she put something out recently that really resonated. And it's the way I've been living is if you get like a cream that you don't really like and you're not going to put it on your face, then use it for your hands or use it for your body. It's like a way of using up what you have so you're not wasteful and you're not just like getting rid of things. That is really important so that, you know, we're not having this like overconsumption, wasteful habits. We're being intentional, we're being creative, and we're saving a lot of money as a result. The other thing that I am starting to really be aware of is AI. Generative AI is massively evolving. It is becoming the future. It is the future. And it's naive to think that we don't need to learn about it. I took it upon myself to enroll in a business and economics class. And one of the things that is like what I really wanted to know about is the influence of AI in business and the future of business and the economy. If we are not reskilling ourselves to learn about AI, we're not really setting ourselves up for a great future because it will be the future. Here's the thing though. I want you to be mindful of how you use it. Beyond the fact that like AI, ChatGPT, it uses a lot of energy. It's a negative impact to the environment. ChatGPT itself is using so much energy and affecting our earth so much. Like, it's crazy. But I need to make sure I'm staying up to date with the AI that is evolving, because otherwise I'm not really going to have the skills needed for future jobs, future opportunities. In fact, they're even saying that there are current degrees that are outdated because they were not trained in a way where technology is going. So to think that it's not that important is a naive approach. I was naive to think that. My boyfriend, thankfully, is so involved in technology, and he's a programmer, but also fascinated by the use of AI. He knows a lot, and because of it, I'm so grateful to learn from him. However, the thing that I do know is I cannot, and you should not let it take away from your intuition and your critical thinking and your creativity, because that is where there's an issue. AI is built off of our creativity, is built off of our problem solving. It's important to use it wisely. Like, I use it for mindless things. I even use it for grocery lists, or when my energy is very low at the end of the day, my willpower is done. But when I'm doing podcast scripting, I don't really use AI that much. I want to use my intuition. I tune into my body. I tune into my intuition. I want to know what's aligning with me. When I'm writing things, when I'm focusing on topics for the 20s detox, my intuition is what guides the way, not ChatGPT, not AI. I don't feel like it should be a replacement. In fact, it's so evident when people are just using it. Beyond that, when you are wanting to get into a certain career field, it's going to be so great for you to know how to use this tool properly so that you are still protecting this individuality of how you write and how you think and how you are creative, while also using it as a tool to get there faster, but not as a replacement. And I believe that just stripping away the use of AI for young students and university kids is not the way of going about it, but it's really trying to guide them and using it as a tool, using it as a creative buddy, a brainstormer. My point is, The use of generative AI is becoming the future. However, a lot of people are not using it properly. They're not using it in a way that, personally, I feel you can set yourself up for success, and it is with that balance. The next thing is jealousy. I'm not going to go too in detail with this because last week I went into greater detail than I thought I would. And it's one of the lessons from me being 26 is because I'm young and I'm wanting to do so many things with my life and we have social media to compare ourselves to, I could feel jealous towards other people about, what they're doing with their life. And I've learned that jealousy is inspiration, but with a different emotion behind it. Jealousy is the desire, but with a lack that I won't be able to have that. Whereas inspiration is the same thing, but with the feeling of abundance that I will be able to have that. And I think whenever you have moments where you're feeling jealous or judgment towards another person or down because you want what they have, the reason why you're down is because you feel like you don't deserve it or you're not capable. And that is the negative. It's not what they're doing or what they have. It's the way you're viewing it. And to sit down and try and detox from it, reshape the way you're viewing it in a way that is out of love and abundance, and really starts with giving that person the respect that they deserve for what they've created. A lot of us like to put ourselves in a victim state because they might have more generational wealth. They might be a man versus a woman. They might be white. And there's a lot of unearned privilege in this world. I completely agree. Don't let that, though, limit you or put you in a victim mindset that you're not able to do great things too. Don't let that happen. Just because somebody's born with more money or born with a certain skin color, it doesn't mean that you're not able to do great things too. Does it need to be at the scale that they're doing? No. And that's also why it ties into number one of you don't need so much. You don't need to do the biggest and huge thing. Like, you can do baby steps that are great that will lead you towards what you're meant to do. Okay? That's the jealousy. The next one is work isn't always work. Let me explain. If you are doing a side hustle, if you are doing something that is a passion project, a podcast, content creation, building a startup. I used to be hard on myself because I'm trying to get out of this hustle culture. I'm trying not to be so much of a workaholic. And I would block it in my schedule as work and on top of my other work, like freelance work and my day job. Because of that, I was almost penalizing myself for having this desire to create these things. One time I was talking to my life coach and something I told her was I'm starting to realize that me labeling this as work has been preventing me from wanting to do what I really want to do. And I'm starting to see more of my podcast, me recording on a Sunday afternoon, as not work, as fun, as enjoyment. And to be honest, when we're young, we have the most amount of energy to create and do these things without burning out so easily. And also, the words you hold behind what you're doing will affect how you will feel afterwards. When I was going into my podcast work of, this is work and I, need to make sure I don't burn myself out or get too exhausted, I usually would because I led with that energy. And now that I'm using it as, this is my passion, this is my business that I love and I am so proud of, and it's beyond just work. This is my passion. I am energized afterwards. I'm not exhausted anymore. And I think if you are kind of grappling with this labeling of your passion project or your side hustle or whatever on top of your day job, and people are trying to tell you that you're doing too much or you're working too hard, don't let their labels affect what they really mean for you. The fifth one is this realization of, it is so important to support my hormones right now. Before you click off, if you want children or you don't want children, this doesn't matter. if you don't want children, it's important that your body is still operating in a way to be fertile, because that is going to give you the proper energy, the proper metabolism, the proper immune support to be able to be your best self. That is regardless if you want a child. And the more that I'm realizing of what we are consuming and putting onto our bodies and doing to ourselves on a regular basis that is destroying our hormones and our endocrine system, the more that I'm like, holy crap, I'm not in a position where I can mess around anymore, because that is going to start to create permanent damage. It's already creating permanent damage. And one of the things is drinking less. I'm so happy that like the Gen Z generation is becoming less willing to literally black out all the time. Like, when did that become normalized? Like, when did consuming toxins become normalized? It's not that I don't drink. It's that I don't view it in that way anymore. Like, I drink a lot less now because why? It gives you false confidence. It makes you feel buzzed and not worry about your struggles that will amplify the following morning, and you'll feel like crap anyway. It's also like so hard on your body. Like, it is a literal poison that you're putting into you. When you literally just explain what it is on the most basic standpoint, that's what it is. And it's normalized and makes us do dumb things sometimes. And like, you wake up on a Sunday morning feeling hungover, or a Saturday feeling hungover, when that's like your only time during the week to have you time. And then you go to work on Monday and the cycle continues. Like, I remember waking up one day, I don't know if it was an energetic shift, but I was like, drinking is gross. Like, this is kind of gross what I've been doing to my body. I love seeing like so many more creators who they were wild and like crazy drinkers and be completely sober now, because they're like, this is not good. This is not healthy. Beyond drinking to support my hormones, I'm going to be focusing on more high quality things that I put on my body. Our biggest organ is our skin. And there's a lot of toxins that are in our makeup, in our skincare, on our clothes. And that's why I wanted to really start with, we don't need so much, because naturally, the higher quality things, the higher quality clothings, they're more expensive. And because of that, you need more dispendable money to be able to afford those things. To be able to do that in a way that isn't breaking the bank account is to no longer approach it with this mass consumption anymore. To have less makeup, to wear less makeup, to have fewer clothes, to really use up your clothes and not feel like you need to buy a new outfit for every event. You don't need a 12-step skincare routine. You really only need like cream and a face wash at the end of the day. And if you want to use retinol, do retinol, but you don't need that much. Like, they're lying to you that you need so much. They just want you to buy from them so that their businesses do better. Really, we don't need any of that to feel beautiful, to be healthy. In fact, we would probably be better off with less of it. And because of that, I'm just like really being mindful of like the quality of the clothes that I'm putting on my body, where these clothes are coming from. Are they even sustainable? Are they ethically created? Because if not, then I'm putting that on my body and it's like absorbing that on my skin. I don't want that. I do not want that. Perfumes, scents. If I could tell you one thing, if you feel like, okay, I still want to drink, I don't want to get rid of all my makeup and all my routines, stop putting perfume on your skin. It is so bad for us. You don't need it. Don't have scented soaps. Use natural soap, natural cream. It is the craziest thing for me to like realize about how damaging that is on like that on a baseline. If all of us just stopped doing that, we'd be a lot better off. The last one, we are in a state of permacrisis where there is constant turmoil, constant instability. There is always something almost uprooting, whether it's a political conflict, war, the release of the Epstein files, bullies in power, the economy. No wonder so many of us are feeling unstable. It's because our reality is unstable. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because as a young generation, where our neuroplasticity is at an all-time high, where we are able to really absorb all this information and our brain is changing as a result of it in comparison to the older generations, I'm learning it's okay to protect my peace. It's okay to detach. It's okay to not be constantly informed. It's okay to stay in a whimsical state. I'm going to pull back to like a book I've been reading, Fourth Wing series. The cadets need to have this grounding quality to themselves so that when they're using their power, it's not going to consume them. And I think about that about us as well. It's like we need to have that grounding, like foothold in something as we take on the world, as we educate ourselves, as we go for these jobs, as we go date, as we go move to a new place. Like without that foothold, we are going to feel so unstable because our surroundings are unstable. You need to have things in your life that create that stability. You need routines. Routines, the purpose of them is to create a sense of familiarity in your day-to-day, a sense of stability, because we need that to not feel like our inner power is going to overtake us. So what are other examples of this instability? The unemployment. A lot of us are having a hard time finding jobs, and it's really easy to feel discouraged, to think we're not qualified enough, skilled enough. But with a good grounding footing, a lot of us will realize that it's not that we're just losing jobs, that there is becoming a shift in jobs. Technology is not just removing jobs, but creating new ones. And I think it's really important for us to stay flexible during this time. Maybe we're not going to be able to afford homes, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have a house. Like we can rent, adopt a new renting culture. And that doesn't mean that we failed. To be able to stay flexible and to pivot while having that foothold is allowing ourselves to go with the flow. I've needed to let go of so much rigidity in my life in this past year to be able to open up new doors for me. And a lot of that is what I've always thought about, what I dreamt of in my life. And at a certain time and a certain age, and now I just don't care. I don't care. My happiness is more important than what looks good on paper, what people think is successful. I don't care about that anymore. Not more than my own happiness. And I don't want you to also care more about what somebody said is like successful of you. Getting that job and owning that house and having a child before this time and finding your husband before your 30s. And no, let's just focus on our happiness and our stability and our ability to stay grounded and support one another throughout this transition. It is a state of transition in society. We can either let it ruin us or we can be ahead and learn how to go with where the direction is taking us. I hope that this episode was educational. You feel less alone. Yeah, it's like these realizations that I've had this past year as I turn 27 in 2 days. If you don't know, I release an episode every single Tuesday, life advice that has the foundation of seasonal living and also just helping all my fellow young adults out there just surviving out here. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please rate the podcast, save, like it, share it with a friend. It helps so much and just lets me know to keep doing these and to keep sharing my thoughts to the world. I appreciate you. Have an amazing week. I'll see you next time.